Hello, everyone. Hello. Happy Saturday. I am Trooper SJP, and this is the Academic Foxhole. How are you all doing? What are you all doing? I just finished eating a donut. Because I bought those donuts the other day? 2 days ago? 2 days ago? 2 days ago. 2 days ago, I bought donuts. But because we're socially distancing and I don't get to leave the house, I had them delivered. And because I had them delivered, I ordered a dozen donuts so that I could eat them over time, because I felt like that's probably the most reasonable thing to do. And it's day 3 of my donuts. And the only problem is, hey, Atomica, the only problem is that then, the donuts are not as fresh on day 3 as they are on day 1. That's all I have to say about that. Falcon notes they get stale. And I feel like some donuts work better than others on day 3. Like jelly donuts work pretty well on day 3. That's why you suffer yourself on day 1. But I want to appreciate the donuts over time. Stacy should be finished with your mask in the next few days. Oh, that would be so amazing, Rissa. Thank you. I just, feel so uncomfortable wearing a bandana around my face when I go outside because I feel like people are going to think I'm a bank robber and then shoot me. That's all. Krellin says, a dozen donuts seems like a lot of donuts for one person. So that's also why you only get jelly donuts. All the lemon-filled donuts. So the donut I just ate before we went live, like I just ate it right now, was it was a Boston cream donut, but it wasn't cream. It was basically lemon. It was like a lemon filling, and it was delicious. It worked well on day 3. The only thing though about when you order a dozen donuts from 2 deliveries, you don't get to choose the donuts they give you. You just get to say, please give me 12 donuts, and then they give you 12 donuts. And I feel like, I'm spacing out my donuts. But, cinnamon rolls work really well after day 3. They age well. Jelly donuts age pretty well. What else? What else ages fair? Hey, Scabinak. Also Falcon, Krellin, Ice Bunny, Rissa, Atomica. Also Cyclonus. And hey, Vorluck Totur, Vorluck Totur. Hi, how are you? I just saw you in chat. Welcome in. Thanks, Krellin. That's what my boyfriend said when Dunkin' was new and I wanted to get 12 and eat them all. Yeah, Dunkin', I just don't think Dunkin' are the best donuts. That's all I'm saying. I think they're like mediocre. Rissa says, also with cinnamon rolls, give it 20 seconds in the microwave and it gives it a little life back. Right? Like some do better. Some do better than others. I find, it's really tricky. I find that, like, say, a glazed donut ages well until it doesn't. Like, yeah. Trooper, were your thoughts on identity spurred by the big thing that happened that Black Twitter was a buzz about yesterday? Actually, no, it wasn't. It was spurred by something else entirely. Vorluck Tour says, I mainly watch you help the French resistance. Oh, that's wonderful. I hope you enjoyed the episode last night. It was super intense. That was an intense episode. By the way, I'm gonna just start the game because we have quests to do, which involve just walking around. So I feel like we have walking around time. So we're just gonna walk around to quests. You're still a bit behind? Oh, well, we have the VODs both on Twitch and also YouTube. But last night's episode was really intense, is all I'm gonna say. It was a very intense episode. And good morning, Origami Shuriken. It's so good to see you. Yeah, it was an intense episode last night, and that's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, it was intense. And next week is going to be Regina's solo episode, which I'm excited about. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am very excited about that because, oh, poor Tango. Yeah, poor, like, I feel like that's gonna be a thing. You know, I feel like that's gonna be a thing. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I don't see that going well for Tango right now. Snark! Where are we? We are here. We can, yeah, let's, oh, we have to go here. I see. Yeah, we're gonna just travel that way. It'll be fine. Yeah, I will tell you what though. Hi Takerosh. Yeah, ooh. Yeah. I'm just a little worried. A little worried about our Tango.
Why, that's borderline offensive, Ms. Ramnareem Wentworth. Of course I believe. The tithes are merely a well-earned bonus.
I met another believer once. Pushy type. He thought he'd been left behind for a reason. Thought he'd find some kind of cosmic truth in the wilderness. Got himself infected by a mantis and drowned in a sulfur pool. Some truth.
I like them.
Brutally true than survival of the fittest. But don't mistake us all for blind fools. Intellect plays a large part in who... Incoming!
Oh, people are shooting at us. Yeah, so, I think a lot about what is coming. Riss is telling me something, and I'm going to see what it is. Oh, the game volume's quiet. Oh, well, I should probably take... Okay, let me turn that up for you. It is kind of low. It is kind of low. I just finished dinner. Ooh, made spare ribs and baby backs with mashed potatoes and freshly made Japanese rolls. I also made a Japanese dinner bread today. That sounds amazing.
Don't mistake us all for blind fools. Intellect plays a large part in who stays among the living.
Glad to hear it.
Ooh. By the way, I was led here by Random Tuesday, so you have to blame her for that. Oh, I love Random Tuesday. Random Tuesday is amazingly awesome. Look, I want to tell you. So, like, seriously, I was like, so just so you know, I want to give you some thoughts, behind the scenes thoughts. Wait, Ice Bunny says, I grew up with someone who had war trauma, and I don't know if it was society's toxic masculinity, he never got help. Well, I mean, people who survived World War II often didn't get help because, depending on where they were, because that was not a time when you were supposed to do that. Is it just me or is purple names turn black on mobile? Oh, I don't know. Things look purple here on desktop. And so this is how I want you to know how it works with solo episodes for me, at least so far.
Ready when you are.
Yeah, sure. No, it's cool. With solo episodes, what often happens is that I'm thinking. For me, it's all about like kind of organic, like what would make sense for the character. And sometimes the characters themselves have missions they want to take care of, and sometimes there's something that makes sense for where their character is at, you know. And so like I never plan the solo mission like way early. Like I don't like make plots that are disconnected. Like I don't think, what would be a good solo mission? A really good solo mission would be trying to find XYZ. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't come up with the solo missions in absence of the player characters. Also, do you see these interesting palm fronds? That's beautiful. And I have to explain this a little bit more because I feel like I'm not being clear. What I want to say is, so I've been wanting to eat shokupan for over a decade. Finally made it. Ooh, that sounds great. I would eat it. I mean, just for the record, I would, because why wouldn't I? Also, since I'm here, I might as well check out all the places. So anyway, look. I think that what I'm going to do is what I would like. Okay, what I would like to do.
That ain't it, but marauders sometimes camp inside the buildings there. Steer clear unless you fancy getting shot.
Oh, well, we could...
Westbound still. I'll let you know when we can start assembling.
Yeah, that's cool, but I think I just want to go there and shoot marauders. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that would be really great. Also, we're gonna kill this Mantiqueen. Oh, hello. Oh, hey. Hi, Mantiqueen. I hope you're all doing well. You're not doing well, are you? Are you doing poorly? Oh, are you all dead? Well, that's bad. So... Excuse me for this. Oh, there's a mantis swarm. Hi. I need to maybe do, that. Hello, mantis swarm. Can I just... Oh, hi. There's a mantis swarm. You know what I think? I feel like I might need maybe a shotgun. Shotguns seem like they'd be good for this. Yeah, let's maybe get a shotgun. Yeah, let's do that. So... Okay, that was a little intense. Oh! That was a little intense. Our household is clearly of the geek. I'm in my room with the foxhole. Stacey's in the living room, zooming with her monthly gaming group. Oh, this is the first place you died. Oh. Yeah, I did get the health buff. I was like, what is the health button? What's the health button? But I got it. Okay. Oh no, we're not gonna accept partially blind. We're not gonna do that. Let's reject that. So, ooh. Also, hi y'all. How are you feeling? Looks like you're a little bit injured, and I feel guilty about that. Yeah. So, 100% range weapon spread is real bad. Yeah, like, let's not do that. Let's not do that. The whole disadvantage thing is really flawed. Perks aren't good enough to justify them. That seems true. Also, it feels like I'll probably get enough to get what I want anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'll get enough. Like, I'm gonna level up. Like, I think special things would be good. Partially sounds bad for someone who gets to comment as much as Jezza. Yeah, especially as like a gun pew pew. If I were like a melee person, maybe I wouldn't mind as much. So, now what I would like to do, full disclosure, or what I think about doing. Like, this is the thing I think about. Whether or not I do it is, you know, I mean, we will see. I would like to work on. I would like to work on. I would like to work, like, here's a thought. I think it would be very cool to perhaps maybe write up City of Light and Swarm as an RPG booklet. What I mean is, Fate has an SRD. It's like there's an OGL for it, which means I could make City of Light and Shadows as what's going on with me? I'm over enrolled. I'm encumbered. Why am I encumbered? Let's delete something. Krillin, I know. Let's break this down. Yeah. Why am I encumbered? Scabby neck. Oh, by the way, no, I see you all. You know, so I decided that what I want for our new emote is the word Doom. I think that'll be really good, but I also feel like if we had another emote slot in the future, I could get a, let me write this down. I'm gonna write it down so I don't forget it because I know I will. Emote, Doom, but also I feel like a dumbbell maybe, or some kind of weight would be pretty good considering, maybe it's the looting, maybe, but it's really hard to say. Could it be that nobody really knows? Nobody knows exactly why. I mean, it's very unclear. But I was thinking that we could get maybe like a weight. You know what I mean? Like a big heavy weight, because sometimes, hello. What is this in the game already? No, yeah, but we're only in the game because we're just kind of wandering around a little bit, so we can wander as we, chat. So it's like we're not even really, you know what I mean. Or I know what I mean. Oh, that's a grenade launch. Nah, I can't delete those things. That's it. How about a sell stuff emote? Yeah, maybe the sell stuff emote. Oh, look, here's a thing I can get rid of. Right, I have 2 of those. I can get rid of one of those. A sell stuff emote might be useful. That is possible. There is a, but it doesn't fit with Trooper's brand, and my brand is clearly being over encumbered. Oh, wait! Look here's a thing I can delete. Like I got 2 of those. I can break it down. See, look at that. See how I am? I just and I have 2 of those. I feel like you should be really proud of me. I got myself to within 10 pounds of my max. You're not gonna maybe, oh. What if I could make something out of it? What was the game where you could? There was a game, right, where you could, oh, hello. Oh, hey. There's a... I'm being attacked right now. By something. Oh, hi. How are you? I was like, something's attacking me. And that's rude. But it's cool. What's up? The last of them. Okay. So, you were always encumbered in Horizon Zero Dawn because everything was crap. Yeah, that's what it was. Thank you, Krellin. That's what it was. It was because everything was a crafting material, and I was like, oh, y'all have not played me. See, you all have not seen me play Elder Scrolls games, which is me being encumbered all the time. Like that's a game where I tend to be encumbered all the time. Like that is a high encumbered trooper game. Like that one's pretty bad. That one I get really encumbered in that one real bad. I was a bit choked when they allowed the movie theaters to open earlier in Denmark. Shocked. And now the theaters say they don't have films to show, as if there was not a lineup planned for the time they were closed. Not that I go to the movies anytime soon. Well, a number of movies pushed their release date off. Yeah. Oh, see, Scabinac notes it. So triggered, I'm just standing here and then being attacked for no reason. Right? I just attacked for no reason. Okay, so what I wanted to say was that, also, I wonder if these carapaces that I'm picking up are what's weighing me down. It's possible. What does it, encumbered means that you are carrying too many things, and then you are weighed down. If you are encumbered, you are weighed down and you can't move very well because you're carrying too much. If you are encumbered, you are carrying too much, and it is impacting your ability to do things. Right? And you can be encumbered. Like in real life, people use it in video games and RPGs all the time. It's called hoarding. Yeah, being weighed down to meet your carrying limit. Yes. Although I suppose you could be encumbered by things that are not too heavy but too awkward, right? You know, like if you're carrying like a really large, how would you feel about this? Like if I were carrying a really large thing that wasn't super heavy but really really awkward to carry, and so that I couldn't move well, I feel like I might call that being encumbered. Everyone's agreeing with me being a hoarder, and I just feel attacked by that. I feel like I'm being called out. Yeah, right. So like, right. Yeah. So Krellin agrees with me. So that even if it's not like I think it's not just if it's too heavy. You could. Oh yeah, you can also be encumbered by emotional baggage. Truth hurts. Maybe the truth does hurt. Maybe it hurts. Also, this kind of blue in the rocks is very beautiful. Like the way that there's that little blue there. So what I wanted to say was that I would love to do a season 2 of City of Light and Shadow. It may not be able to take place on a Friday because I think Friday's a little bit rough for the cast, but we're going to finish up this run, and then maybe after we finish up the run, we might, and I move to a new place, then perhaps we do the show on a different day if we want to keep doing it. But I would like to keep doing it. Hello, Toad. And I want to see a season 2 and a season 3 because I feel like requires relay station access codes, which I don't have apparently. Well, all right, we'll come back to this deadly place then. Oh, hey, guess what? I am a little encumbered, and I think it's these manticore carapaces. So I'm going to what I'm going to do, I'm going to just deal with that for now. Do you not have to work in upstate New York as well? Upstate New York is actually different because I'm on a research leave. And a research leave means that I basically I just need to write. So I do have to work, but my work is writing. I will teach one class throughout the entire year, but I don't like how slow I'm moving. Let's get rid of, I don't want to do it. Okay, I'll do it. I'm going to remove all of those from junk. Wait, where'd they go? They're not destroyed. Oh no. Where'd they go? I removed them from junk, but where did they go? Well, that's not what I wanted. Oh. I did all, writing and reading takes time too, says the slow eater. Oh, certainly. But, so they're in the category that isn't junk, but like what category is that gonna be? We will find this out. We will find it out. So certainly I will have a lot to do when it comes to reading and writing. That is miscellaneous. Modifications, consumables, general. There we go. Haha. So let's... Oh, I don't think I could get rid of these. Yeah, I don't think I can get rid of them. I think I have to sell them. Yeah. Right, so like I can set my own schedule for writing. I mean, I'm going to be teaching one class and I have to attend a seminar while I'm there. And that the seminar I'm going to have to attend the whole time, which is fine. I'm not at all bothered by that. It's okay. Oh, wow, stun baton. I'm going to get rid of this, even though I don't know if I have a backup for it. What did I just do? I added it to junk. Come on, people. We're gonna... you have to attend a class as a student. It's a seminar for all the participants. Like, because the thing that I'm doing is it's kind of like it's a research fellowship that involves a cohort of people all coming together on a theme, and then we meet every week to sort of talk about this theme and work through things. So it's a little yeah, so I'm gonna have a seminar is what's gonna happen, which, you know, is awesome. So I'm gonna have to do that as well. Sit in the back. No, it's a Ice Bunny. It's a seminar. Hello, Chromatic Chameleon. It's a seminar, so there's no escaping. I do music. I do music research, music history. I teach music history, and no, it's not exactly a group project. It's more like a group theme, like, because we're all doing really, really different things, but I suspect what's going to happen is that we're going to get a lot of support for each other. You know, like we're going to read each other's work, do readings on the topic, and it's like we're going to be like brainstorming. See, Ice Bunny, I actually like school, you know, and I'm actually very excited about this. Oh yeah, no worries, Chromatic. I do. It's kind of like a writers group. Yeah, I think it's going to be more like a writers group. Is what I suspect it's going to be like. I mean, but I also think it's going to be a little hardcore because sort of like really intense people have gone and like it. But apparently it's amazing, and I'm excited to figure out what it's like. So I'm going to have things to do, of course, but I get to, for the most part, make my own schedule. So that'll be great. Writers groups can be both good and bad things depending on the group. Well, that's true. Trooper's Academic Salon. So, Chromatic, I teach music history and specifically popular music history. Although I also do, I also do cultural studies. So like I'm in a music department, but I'm also co-assigned, or not really co-assigned, I'm affiliated with American Studies, Africana Studies, Film and Media Studies, Women's Gender and Sexuality Studies. So I have affiliations because I basically do a lot of interdisciplinary work. That's what I do. Oh. Hey, Artie Snack. Yes, how are you doing? Welcome in. I hope things are going well with you as well. Oh, gosh, there are all these things that I was thinking about. A lot of things I'm thinking about. Okay, so anyway, what I wanted to say, because I was thinking about things. Wait, there's a cereal called Purple Berry Crunch. Yes. So I was thinking that I would really like to, when I'm done, write up City of Light and Shadows as a... well, this place has got dramatic lighting. Hello, dramatic lighting location. Dramatic. Ooh, French toast. French toast. One of my favorites. I am very much a French toast kind of guy. When he's not seeing everything that's not nailed down to begin. Well, yeah, you know. Like, I'm allowed to steal this stuff because no one's gonna murder me if I do, so I have to, like, take advantage. You have a master's in cultural landscape, ethnography of creating neighborhood spaces. Oh, Chromatic Chameleon, that sounds amazing. Oh. Chromatic Chameleon, that sounds so cool. What was your master's thesis on? Please tell us about your master's thesis. I will be very sad if you don't. I want to know. You maybe want to research the new game from the Game Grumps on stream. Which one? Taking ethics notes. Stealing equals fine if immediate combat won't result. Yep. That's right. That is correct. Toad, maybe don't take ethic notes from Jezza. Maybe just don't do it. You know what's weird? I often play rogues, thieves in Elder Scrolls, and so that I'm like pickpocketing and stealing things all the time. But if I don't, then I often don't. Isn't that interesting? Depends on the character. Chromatic says, visual spaces in Second Life. Ooh. Comparing why Second Life libraries failed compared to steampunk lands. Oh. Huh. Could you say more? Could you say more what you found? Like, I'm really interested in this. What did you find? Like, say more. Look, Chromatic Chameleon, you need to know something about this place. All right? This is a thing you need to know. This is a place where I am always ready for people to nerd out about their academic loves. So please tell us more. Hey, Taxamique. I'm playing a Jessica Carmichael, who was a bartender, before he got sent on the space, but on the side, because he was just like a regular bartender, but on the side he would hack. So he's a bit of a hacker engineer with good social skills. He's a bit of a rebel. He hates the man. He's probably in his mid-20s. Like, he's probably like 24 about. I mean, he hates the man. And I'm spending a lot of time on like talking, hacking, and engineering. That's what, and I like to shoot things with pistols. That's what I'm working on. That's my build. Toad says, camera pans out to show a Pepe Sylvia style conspiracy board titled Ethics with hundreds of screenshots of Trooper's playthrough. No! Don't do it. Don't do it. Artie asks Chameleon, did anyone try making steampunk libraries and see if that had any effect? Chromatic, a charmer who knows how to get out of difficult situations by talking. Yes. And also hacking. And who steals all the time. That is a thing. There is some stealing going on. And Taxamique, we got in trouble with Amber Heights. Oh, you're on your third playthrough. Oh, cool. This is my first. Like, we're in trouble with Amber Heights. We accidentally stole things one too many times there, and they saw us accidentally one too many times, and now they want to shoot us, which is super rude because we only stole things from their community 3 times being caught. And I just feel like that's just so unfair. Hopefully they'll like forget about it and forgive us. Chromatic says, oh, I have to sell my I should. I just need to find a place where I can sell some stuff. Chromatic says, library space often fail to create spaces with the right signs that call you to action, while steampunk lands seem to be all about actions. Well, I have an MLIS too, Master's in Library Science, right? Library and Information Sciences. That's a cool degree. Yes, and they were, but they had story times. Huh. Tox is like, guys, I only stole 3 things, chill. Right? I mean, and one time I was on the roof of a building and I really didn't think anyone could see me because I was like, oh, I'm on the roof of a building, I can steal this. But apparently some rando way down the street happened to see me stealing a thing on the roof. Like, it was on the roof. It was totally fair game. Like, it didn't belong to anybody. It was on a roof. Anyway, they got really mad. They tried to shoot me, and then we had to escape. It was very inconvenient, and now they won't talk to me. Is Second Life still a thing? I was bored out of my brain there when it was new. Second Life is still a thing, and I know someone who, you can just say it like Mickey if you want. Oh, okay, text a Mickey. That's what I will do. There was I know a person who does stuff in Second Life. She invited me in, but I just haven't had time to go. She is part of this sort of Weimar Berlin thing where they've recreated Weimar Berlin, and people just kind of go and live in Weimar Berlin, and everyone's sort of like historical. And she's part of a cabaret group where they do dancing, like they do dancing, right? So they put on performances. They have like a cabaret, and they do performances in this cabaret. And I keep thinking I should really go to this place. This seems right up my alley. But that's cool, right? And I was like, oh, neat. And as Scabby Knack notes, everyone knows roofs are free-for-alls. Totally. Like, it's, It's not in somebody's house. It's just on a roof. Who goes on a roof? Besides me. It seemed rude. Electronic log. Someone left a ledger with a list of names, likely members of a unit that used this outpost. Some names, like a Lamont and a Delilah, are at the top of the list. Some names are crossed off, only to be added later, as if that person left and rejoined. A peculiar note is that the name Ash is nowhere to be found. Interesting. Well, maybe Ash was writing the note? Maybe? No, please do. Taxamickey, please ask away. Tak is in the Swedish way to say thank you. At the time, libraries were big in Second Life as a form of outreach. But after all the studying we did in 2008 to 2011, we found they really failed. The current trend is Discord and Twitch. Oh, you know, Taxamickey, a good friend of mine is an ethnomusicologist, and he specializes in, he does a lot of things, but Swedish folk music and dance. He's sort of moving a little bit into Lindy Hop right now, but he goes to Sweden every summer. He does research there. He's fluent in Swedish. He actually like has a certificate for being a national folk musician. But yeah, he's a friend of mine goes to Sweden every year, and he does Swedish folk music and dance. He goes to some of the big, the Lindy things that happen, the swing dancing things that happen in Sweden. Yeah. So like I have a Swedish connection. Howdy, Barentor. How are you? Second Life is like Burning Man. It depends on how much you put into it, how much you will enjoy, how much you will enjoy, you'll get out of it. We are trendsetters here. Oh, Mickey's your name. But it's probably pronounced Mickey. Probably. I would assume, right? Like, would that be how you pronounce it? Like Mickey? Like not Mickey, which would be super American, but more like Mickey. Would that be right? Like Taxamickey? Perhaps. The Swedish connection sounds like a crime thriller, and that would be amazing, right? Yes. Because Sweden is like doing their crime stuff, right? They had was it The Bridge? I feel like Sweden's in a bit of a renaissance for crime stories. Right. So, PJ says you bought tickets for us all. You didn't have to do that. I owe you. I don't know that I will be able to pay you back, but thank you. Lamont. Oh, Lamont is Ash. D, don't mention it. I'm attaching coordinates for the waterfall camp. Grab your gear and meet us up there by sunup. We're finally getting off this hellhole. I don't know why they're Southern, but they are. I've just decided that they are Southern. There's a lot of those TV series, but I don't watch those. That's a co-production with Denmark. It is a co-production with Denmark. I know that, which I thought was actually kind of really cool and interesting that they did that. I was like, oh, that seems really cool. Right, it seems kind of innovative and neat. Let's do that. The town called Malice is supposed to be a good Nordic storyteller games about the murder crime. Oh. And the Swedish head cop had autism. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't... am I going the right way? Yes. Yes. We're gonna say I'm going the right way. Yes. So I would like to... I
call this Rotting River, on account of all the dead things I've thrown in it over the years.
Oh.
It'll take you into the Devil's Peak Caverns if you follow it under the bridge. That's one option. Others the slope up. If you're up for some fun, let's chat.
Well, the thing is, I don't want to do the big quest right now. I want to do some of our side quests, right? Because we're like hanging out a little bit. I like to watch Fox and really like shows like CSI Miami and Bull. Oh, cool. I'm generally speaking, I'm interested in crime shows from different countries because I find that
Here we go.
So something I think is really interesting is that not all countries can afford to.
Damn, but we're good.
Well, all right then. Not all countries can afford to create lots of different kinds of TV shows, but I find that a lot of countries will make soap operas and crime shows. And I feel like that's really interesting because then maybe you can learn something about, from the crime shows and the soap operas, a little bit about something about that culture, and I think that's really interesting. Like when I moved to Germany, I thought, I wonder what German crime shows are going to be like, considering that Americans have a lot of gun crime, right? Like we have a lot of gun crime in the U.S., and they don't have as much gun crime in Germany. So what would German crime shows look like, right? So I was very interested in that kind of a thing, and then who are the bad guys going to be? Do you see anything weird happening? No? All right. So like, who are the bad guys in the crime shows, and what do they? I think maybe I first started thinking about this. I don't think I can climb up this way. I don't like soap operas. Oh, yeah, but I find them fascinating. You know, I don't know, it's one of those things, I think it's one of the things that happens, I don't know, when you're too much of an academic, that I don't have to enjoy things to find them interesting. Yes. You've been streaming for less than an hour and are playing a game. See something, you know, but am I playing the game, or am I just sort of around? I mean, these are questions that I have. No. Tatort is a German crime show. And what's interesting about Tatort is, so Germany has a number of different states, right? They have, you know, like Baden-Württemberg is a state, Bavaria is a state, Prussia is a state, a bunch of different states. And each of those states has a public TV station, right? You know, like in a state-run public TV station. And so like Bavaria has its own TV channel, and Baden-Württemberg has its own TV channel, et cetera, et cetera. And so Tatort is also, give me a second. Give me another second. All right. So Tatort is a crime show, but the show itself is it's like, they're really long. They're kind of like little movies. And what happens is that each of the state TV channels produces their own, like has their own detective and produces their own episodes. So each week there's an episode of Tatort, but it's from, and they all share them, right? So this week there's like the guy that is the detective from Munich, from the Bavarian channel, and you'll watch that one. And the next week you can watch the detective from Berlin, and then the week after that you get to watch the detective from Hamburg, right? And they rotate through. So each week you get, and like I had my favorite detectives. Everyone has your favorite detectives, whatever. But you get a different kind of production, a different feel, a different detective every week, and it circles around, right? So I would follow this one particular detective who I thought was pretty cool. So it's like, but because the channels don't have to produce, because the production companies don't have to produce an episode every week, they only have to produce one every 6 weeks or whatever it is, they can put more time and effort into making a really good show. So it's this kind of cool sort of collaborative thing, that's cool. I like that. Yeah. Wait, I feel like, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, people are making fun of the genre they name the space operas. It's true, because people like to make fun of soap operas, which I don't think is fair. Every part of Germany has a station like PBS, and all of them make programs for the main public PBS station. Mm-hmm. Built a value judgment right into the name of the genre. Yep. Yep. Szymanski. Yeah, Szymanski was the Bavarian one, but Szymanski was not my favorite detective. My favorite detective was Lena Odenthal's. Lena Odenthal had, what was her name? Give me a second. Where's my cursor? Hello, cursor. Give me a second. Lena Odenthal. Ulrika Folkerts is the actor. So there's this woman, her name is Ulrika Folkerts, and she played a detective called Lena Odenthal, and she was, I don't know, in the town of Ludwigshafen, and I don't know if she's still playing. I don't know if she's still playing. I don't know what she's still doing, actually, because I was living in Germany in the 90s, and it is now 2020, so it has been a while, and so I have no idea what she's up to nowadays, actually, but she was my fave back in the day. Ulrike Folkerts' Lena Odenthal. Yeah, my character's hair looks great, right? My character has got awesome hair and has got, like, really great sideburns. Like, I'm just telling you, my character is, like, rocking it right now. Hessen, I've not seen Todd in the past 15 years. Yeah, who knows what's happening to, who knows what's happening nowadays? So, Taxamike, something you should know is that I'm a bit of a hoarder and I don't get rid of anything hardly ever, and that, becomes a problem eventually. And I try to stop doing that, but I don't try really hard. But that is a thing that happens. I thank you, Ice Bunny. Also, I think he has a cute backside because he steals things and it keeps him fit. Is my suspicion. You're stealing all the things and that. It's like leg day all the time, is my thought. Oh, I know. My inventory is always really full, and I just need to find, what I need to find is a, what do you call it? A vending machine. Like, I would like a vending machine. That's all. I just want a vending machine. And I don't think that's too much to ask. That's all. Right, so I would like to go and perhaps write up, to finish my thought, City of Light and Shadow as a book, and then put it out there into the universe. I think that would be great. This is come over my inventory. Yeah, I will totally, I know, I don't think I'll find it either. And, oh, well, I just, What's in here? Oh, this is the Force Factory. Hello, Death Star Taco. How are you? Your FO2 character was a klepto based on most of my other players at my short Ultimate Online. Yeah, I'm gonna pick up more things since, might as well. So I would like to make it a novelette focused on Regina. Would be that I feel like a novelette focused on Regina would be something that Little Red Dot would have to write because that's her character. But what I would do is I would write a gaming supplement. But isn't the thing that Colmarine is the thing that #1 that is not sparking joy? Yes, but what if having a really bloated inventory sparks joy? Also, I think this is the way up, and I think it's just going to be difficult to get up here. So I think I just have to work. Because look, there's a thing. There's a quest here. That's all. There's a quest here. So yeah, I want to make a book, and a City of Light and Shadows book. I think that'd be really cool. And for the City of Light and Shadows book, I would actually give I would give quest ideas, right? Sort of general quest ideas and solo quest ideas. Would being less encumbered help? Maybe. I don't know. I don't think so either. Hey, Forla Santo, but there's gotta be a way up because there's a quest here waiting for us, right? So there's gotta be a way up. Maybe it is this way? Like, there's gotta be a way up here because there's a quest up here that's just tantalizingly few moments away from me. Do you see what I'm saying? Tripper would have to decide which sparks joy because Tripper would never be so troubled by his clutter as to... Yeah. It's true, she never goes. Okay, look. I'm a little over encumbered, but look, the problem is all of this stuff that I've got in my junk pile. If I could get rid of this junk, then I wouldn't be encumbered. Basically, right? I mean, that's just a true fact. I would. All right, look, we're gonna do one more pass of seeing if there's things we can delete. Just. Okay, here's the it. We'll do it by weight. We'll do it by weight. Could I see doing City of Light and Shadow in another system? That's really interesting. I originally, Anarchist Cookbook. 244, 412. Well, light machine gun, like that's so good though. Well, let's get rid of this hammer. I originally wanted to do City of Light and Shadow in GURPS. That was my original vision back in the day. You know, I was planning on, we're gonna just get rid of this one too. See, no, that is not what I want. Yeah, so I originally wanted to do it in GURPS. That was my original vision, because GURPS would give me the kind of grittiness that I wanted. I'm also getting rid of my... I want you to know, you should all be proud of me. I'm getting rid of things that I don't even... Like, I'm getting rid of things, everybody. You should be super proud of me. Because you know how I hate getting rid of things. There. I got rid of one more thing. That's it. Boom. I just got rid of all those things. I'm really happy Fate worked out so well for you, given your initial... Yeah, I mean, there's still some things about it that I think are a little tricky.
This factory offers the loveliest aromas. Like if you cook borscht over a sulfur pit.
You know, I wonder if I can climb up behind the waterfall. Let it go! Let it go! You don't have to lug that anymore. Maybe not. Maybe. Fate is still a little tricky. I mean, so for example, there are all these like, I think that there are rules things that are not yet... Yeah, there are things I like about it. I mean, I've had to modify it, right? I've had to modify it to make it grittier. And there are some rules things that I think are a little bit tricky for players to get their heads around unless they really sort of think about it. And so I'm thinking about... I think that if I write up City of Light and Shadow as a book, I can do some things to make some of those things perhaps a little clearer. One thing, so there are 4 actions in Fate, and those actions are, you know, I bet I can do this way. I have a thought. I have a thought. So the 4 actions are attack, defend, overcome, and create an advantage. I noticed they haven't shared fate points or create aspects for each other. I know, but like, here's the thing, Rissa, about supporting the players. I'm actually pretty stingy on that for a reason. And one of those reasons is I have seen the way in which, allowing that too much just warps the game. Also, where am I? What is happening? Okay. I think we can do it this way. Yeah, it warps the game. I was watching in a number of shows where the audience can affect the narrative. Yeah, see, that's the problem, right? That I just tend to... Oh, hello. Oh. Not friend. Pardon me. There are a bunch of people who are not friends here. Okay. We're just going for Sinner Mass, by the way. Also, they seem to have a lot of armor, but... Oh, and... somebody? Do a thing? No? Okay, well, hold on.
Everyone all right?
Yes? Somebody's screaming. Yeah, so I'm very careful. Like I want y'all to be able to do things, but I've seen it go poorly before. I've seen it go poorly. I've seen it like warp the system in ways that make it not work well. So I'm pretty, like, when I add something, I'm pretty careful about how to do that in ways that won't that'll still work. So I'm very, like, anything I add, I've got to be very I'm very careful about it. And so I don't move quickly because I want to make sure that whatever we do will you know. Hello? Oh. Well. I mean, what about curated options if viewers can spend extra credits on as part of a vote for which happens first queue that you handpick? Yeah, here's the thing. Viewers are trolls. And viewers are super trolls, and I try to reduce the opportunity for trolling. I've seen it just go so poorly. I know you have extra credit. I know you have them burning in your pockets, but I figure that there are going to be other ways, and I think that with each system, there'll be different ways to do it. And I'm pondering, because I'm going to run something other than Fate, and I figure in that system there'll be something different. Oh, that can be done. Well, this looks bad. Looks bad, everybody. So, you know, I'm trying to think about the ways in which, like, and also this is interesting to me because I've seen this work out poorly in other games, and so I'm really interested in how to do this in a way that will work well and interesting, as kind of a slight innovation as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking about how to innovate this process of audience game interaction in ways that don't replicate some of the problems I've seen in other channels. Yeah, viewers are trolls, but perhaps you shall build the right kind of bridge for them that allow y'all to get where you need to be. But I also want to make sure this remains the players' stories. Do you know what I mean? And that becomes important. How about for the second season, let us buy extra fate points only for the faction side to make them do... Oh, but here's the thing. The fate points that you're buying are faction fate points. That's the thing. The fate points that you're buying are faction fate points. That is what you're doing. Now, the players can use the faction fate points. personally, but then they don't have them for faction things. They can use them either for the faction or for themselves. And that's one of the things the faction does that gives them access to this other pool, but it's a collective one. So you're actually giving them faction fate points, rather than individual fate points. The remnants of these bones show the telltale signs of a mantisaur attack. Powerful jaws have crushed the skulls, while weathering on some of the fragments suggests passage through some beast's digestive tract. Amidst the dirt, you find a small lockbox that matches this description given by Ash. Oh. Well, they're dead. They're dead. Yeah, so, and I think this is a kind of a new system for some of them, and it's just about getting them to learn. You know, here's the thing I think is really fascinating, right, about Fate. I mean, it was, I meant set them as defined as only for faction side moves, not for personal use at all. Maybe more bookkeeping. Maybe. I'm gonna think about it. I'll think about it. So here's the thing I want to say about Fate that I think is really interesting, is that Fate seems very rules light, and it's true. I think it is a very rules light system. So here's this factory. Go to Stellar Bay, find this captain. A hidden lab. And Trooper, I can see why allowing viewers to boost the PC and Cthulhu computers would be bad. Not all games would give good options for using extra credit. Right. But I think that there are things, and also the thing is that there are a number of games that allow the viewers to do negative things to harm the players. And I don't really like that either. I've seen that go really poorly. So I really want to figure out, and the thing is, I think that there are ways in which there are times when they could work really well. Like, I think in the GURPS arena, I think that there are a lot of things people can use extra credit points for. I haven't worked out all the things, what those things could be, but I actually think the GURPS arena would allow for a lot of really interesting use for extra credit points. So that I'm really looking forward to. Does the player weigh as much as a duck? Burn them! And they are. Yeah. Also, one of the reasons why I really like that the fate points that you give them are group fate points, because then it doesn't get into a popularity contest, and I don't like that either. I've seen that also happen where you give you give a fate point for this, you spend and it's usually money people are spending, right? You spend money and you give this one character, a bonus, and then one character ends up getting 5 bonuses because people like the character, and other characters get no bonuses, and I don't like that either. So I didn't want anything that would allow, in a group game like this, that to happen. So I didn't want that. So I wanted it to be collective so that they could all sort of, right? So I'm really thinking a lot about the ways in which points are used to support, and I think when I write up City of Light and Shadow as an RPG book, because now that we have Fate condensed, I can put all of the rules in the book, and it can be a standalone book, and that's really great. I'm going to actually put in sections on streaming, playing the game, streaming the game, and audience interaction. So I'm actually going to put the book is going to be a source book. The way I'm imagining it right now is that the book for City of Light and Shadows will certainly be a book on City of Light and Shadows and how to run games in the French Resistance with a lot of historical background and plot ideas and all of that. But it's also going to talk about how to run sandboxes. So I'm also going to include sort of general sandbox advice, how to do what I call a directed sandbox. It's also going to have advice on how to do solo sessions, and it's going to have advice on running a game, like how to if you wanted to stream this how to stream it and how to have how interaction, audience interaction, like thoughts about audience interaction. So I imagine the City of Light and Shadows book being a standalone book for City of Light and Shadows, but also including advice and thoughts that could be useful beyond just City of Light and Shadows. And so I'm excited about that, right? Like I'm excited about that particular opportunity to do something a little bit bigger with the book. And I'm hoping that I can get some work on it done while I'm on my research leave. So I'll be working my main book, my academic book, and then also working on this on the side. And that's what I'm excited about this option. Krillin notes, Trooper saw a lot of things on Death from Above that he didn't like and didn't want to replicate. And Krillin, that is true. That is true. That is true. Not exclusively Death from Above. There were other things that happened on Hyper that I didn't like. Yeah. Oh. Note. Kolos book. Alerts. And sound minimizing. Reading out. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about, and of course, you know, it's all very like, you just like ponder it, but I have like a bunch of thoughts that I want to put into this book that will be helpful, I hope, to people outside of just wanting to run a French resistance campaign. Chromatic says, an idea I've bounced around in my head is spending points during a GM prep show to make story before the game is run. And I think it depends on the sort of campaign you're running. So I tend to sandbox it, so story wouldn't work. Right, spending points to have story wouldn't work because I'm not doing City of Light and Shadow. Like, I was talking to somebody else about this. It's interesting. I was talking to somebody else. They're like, "Do you think you can finish the story by the end of the season because you have only 4 episodes left, and 2 of them are solo episodes?" And I was like, "Yeah, I have some questions about that." But they said, "Can you finish your story by the end?" And I said, like, "I don't have a story because I'm not running this as a narrative game, but as a sandbox game." What happens are there are elements, right? There are threads, right? It's as a sandbox, there are threads and there are currents and flows. And what I need to do, which actually also you do with Good Society, is I need to make sure I can bring the threads to a satisfying close for the end of the season. Not that I need my story to finish, because I don't have a story. The players have a story and the world has a story that is theoretically ongoing, right? Because it's not like an end scene, we're done, it's over, but more like, can we come to a good pause? Like, can we come to a space where it makes sense to break? And I think the answer is yes. I think the answer, I mean, again, I don't know what the player's going to do. The players may make my job much more difficult to bring us to a satisfying pause where we can sort of stop the sandbox for a moment, but I'm seeing it come together. I mean, again, I don't know what the players are going to do. The players just might go wild in the last episodes and just do all sorts of things that are not helping not helping to do this, but I see it. I think it's doable, depending on what they do. But that said, I think there are ways in which it could be done. For example, when I sort of make that sandbox, I make threads, right? I think, okay, who are the factions? Who are the what are going to be the tensions? What are the different threads that are going on? And I could see in prep the audience using points to help add threads, if that makes any sense. If I were doing a narrativist game, then sure, you could be like, what are plot beats you want to happen? Yeah. Toad's like, seize the means of audience support. Death Star Taco says, yeah, when it gets into a popularity thing, perceived or not, it takes away the fun. Yeah, I agree. Will you write the book in lemon juice and with at least 4 crypto codes with a consultation of 7 cryptids? Yes. Yes, I will. Death Star is asking about my academic book, which I will get to. Volpa says, for fluff, maybe points to name NPCs. Krellin's like, they've already done so many important things. They have. But what if the show ends in them all getting round up and executed? That could also happen. That would also be an end. That would also be an end. Yeah, that would also be an end. Because here's the thing. Because I don't have an externally imposed plot, I don't know what is going to happen. My whole job really is to make the end of that first season feel like a season ender. Like that's my whole job, is to make it feel as if we have a satisfying end to the season. If they all die, well, that will and by satisfying, I don't mean that they enjoy it. That's not what I mean. I mean, I hope they enjoy it, but I mean, them all getting rounded up and executed is a thing that could happen, and that would certainly be an ending, right? But I think the challenge for sandboxes, especially super open sandboxes, which mine are not exactly. Mine are very open, but they're directed. I call them directed in that. So sandbox philosophy, which I'm going to talk about in this book, which is why I'm very excited about the book, is that if you look at something like Fallout 3, there basically is no plot. Like there's the I should find my dad, but there's basically no plot in a lot of those at all. They always say well, the plot's what you make of it on your own, what you find it. You kind of just walk around and you find things. I think New Vegas is a little bit different, but those sandboxes are they're really, really open in such that as a player, you could just wander around and do nothing. And it would not really, that is a hard thing to have satisfying pauses for, right? That's hard to have it and also that can, depending on the player, that can get boring when they're I don't know what I'm doing, what I'm even doing here. And a lot of those kind of open world are by people who are really excited about environment creation. They're look at this cool environment that I made. Look at this cool environment that I made. And sometimes they're made, without the PCs in mind, right? You just create this really cool place and then you drop the PCs in it, and the PCs, they'll do something. Do you know what I mean? They'll do something or they won't. But they're not necessarily integrated into the space because the sandbox is made without the players in mind. So I don't do my sandboxes that way. I don't do completely open sandboxes that way. And I find those kinds of sandboxes really difficult to bring to satisfying intra-act pauses, because there's, you know what I mean? There's, that's hard. Yeah. So I have the second thought, but I want to see what you're saying. Very different from Cthulhu Confidential, says Rissa, where there's a story and the character can't be done till the end of the story is reached. Yeah, those are so different. And actually, I think that player intervention doesn't really work in Cthulhu Confidential. At least I've not come up with a way to do it yet, because that is such a tightly scripted. That is so tightly scripted. It's really hard to do improv in that system. I could do it, but it's hard to do it because of the way that the challenge system is pretty opaque. I think that in Night's Black Agents solo, they have the solo system for Night's Black Agents, and I think that might be a little bit easier to improv in based on how they changed some of the mechanics. We'll see. So again, I think Cthulhu Confidential, as it's done, I think that's actually a little bit difficult to find a way to sort of meaningfully and do well audience interaction. Also because they're one-shots, and then the payoff is not as good. I also want audience interaction to have good payoff for the audience. I want audience interaction to not be cosmetic. Do you know what I mean? I want it to be... I don't want it to warp things, but I want it to be like, if we're going to do it, I want it to do something. Like the idea of maybe having NPCs, or like there are things you can do, but Cthulhu Confidential is super tightly wound, and I've not yet come up with a way to make it meaningful for the audience yet, and also work in the game. But I think there are a lot of other systems where that can happen. Let's see. That was going to be my counterpoint. So interesting. Yes. Season 2 would be an all new cast in that case. It might be the same cast. Yeah, all new PCs certainly, and that is totally doable, or partial, because people might die. Do you know what I mean? Like, that is a possibility. People might die, and then you might get a new character, right? And that's a thing. Second season is Regina's little sister and the Doctor recruiting a new team, taking out all those that killed the first team. Doable. That's doable. Meaningful end to the character's story. Would not suck to start there if the current team meets an ugly end. That is true, because they've built these connections that give you spaces to make new people. One of the things I think is interesting is that I want, and also the end of a season, I want to not, I don't want it to be final. Right, like, you know how like with a really good narrativist, you've got a beginning, middle, and end. But I think of these more like soap operas or long-running serials, where I want it to give you a good pause, but that there's a space to continue forward. Scabby next is, that's why I've only played like a half an hour of Zelda Breath of the Wild. If I have to beat Ganon, don't just dump me in the world. Krellin says that's why New Vegas is better, because it opens with a clear goal. Yes, right? So there's the thing that for me, when I run, thank you, Krellin, for putting me back on topic. When I run a sandbox game, I do what I call a directed sandbox. And what that means is that it has to, for me, I want the sandbox to have direction. And there are two kinds of directions I think are important. I feel like the player should have a direction, and I feel like the world should have a direction, or the people in the world should have a direction, right? So I said to the players, I was like, okay, you all need to have a goal. Like, I'm not going to just say, make a resistance member, go. I was like, okay, what is your goal? And that's part of what the faction does, which I'm very excited about. The faction itself made them decide what is their goal as a faction. What makes them sort of a cohesive unit? What are their goals? What are their values as a faction? Their values are about preserving the future. And now their values and goals have shifted a little bit as the game has progressed, which is totally fine. But they had a goal and they had a direction as players, as a group. And then each of their individual players had goals and directions. And then, of course, the world has goals and directions, or at least parts of the world. Falke, for example, was embroiled in a political struggle with the Gestapo for prestige and for power, right? So he had goals that involved being able to show off and show up the Gestapo, and those goals made him vulnerable in certain ways. Right, and the Gestapo have slightly other goals. The military certain goals. The French government in the occupied zone also have different goals. The civilians have goals. The criminals have goals. And so, like, just think about like what are their goals and what are they doing? What are their directions? And that is not a plot, right? Like, that's not a plot. My plot is not, they will find this here, and then they'll get there, then they'll get there, and then there'll be this. But I know that they want to develop a nerve agent. They want to do these various things. And I know that there are some people doing stuff in the background that have been doing stuff since day one that our players have not yet gotten involved with, or really sort of, like, there's just stuff going on. And so it's not directionless. There are people with motivations, with goals, that want things and desires, and that are moving to enact their desires. And then it becomes, how do you all interact, right, with that? And then what I need to do when we come to like a season close is to make sure we get to a space where we don't have a lot of threads dangling. There are still things dangling that can bring you into a next season, but you feel like there have been threads tied up, right? So that's all I really need. I need to make sure that some threads have been tied up, and that there are threads still going, right? That's like, for me, to get a good directed sandbox, you want to get a sense that sort of those 16 episodes gave you a sense of some things being tied up while other things are still existing. Are you talking, or is there is totally gameplay happening? I just have to read this. Let's do that one maybe? That's sort of, yeah, because I don't think I want to do this factory yet. I think I want to go here, which is kind of far away, but we can walk there, right? Like, look, I realize that I've not gone into this factory and searched it all over the place, but I don't want to do the factory right now. I want to just chat a little. I just want to walk a little bit, you know? I want to walk a little bit. I think that's fine. Or some characters might have gone deep undercover with everyone being like, yeah. We know you want to end with a cliffhanger. Vulpes. Would I end with a cliffhanger? Yes. Yes, I would. I would end with a cliffhanger, but it has to be the right kind of cliffhanger. It has to be, like, I think, there are different kinds of cliffhangers. I think there are end of episode cliffhangers and there are end of season cliffhangers. And I think that they're a little bit different. So, right, that's, right, those things are different things. And knowing the art, right, like, end of episode cliffhangers can be super dire. Like, an end of an episode cliffhanger can certainly be you actually literally hanging from a cliff. That's not a satisfying end of season cliffhanger, right? Like, I find that end of episode cliffhanger should be immediate, visceral, short-term cliffhangers that can be resolved, that you're like, what is going to happen? Oh my gosh, I can't handle it. But then you can resolve them. So, for example, somebody dangerous walks into the bar is a really good end of episode cliffhanger, but that's not really good for an end of season cliffhanger. End of season cliffhangers needs to be a little bit different in scope. Otherwise, it feels unfair. That's all. As did, let's see, we had, where are we at? Sex. Now I'm thinking of City of Light and Shadows, of the City of Light and Shadow story, but shot as a soap opera. I kind of think of it as a kind of like some of those British dramas that have a slightly soap opera technical feel because they're using video, not film, and they feel more immediate and close in that way. Someone gets preggy in soap shows. May I remember you? Lindenstrasse has had all the problems in the world. Oh, they have. Rissa notes, did his involvement with Jeanette, Falke's vulnerabilities. Oh, yeah. And because the thing about Falke is that Falke was an egomaniac, right? He had serious ego problems that are not the things that are going on with Tristan Hustle. They're different in terms of like what's driving them, what is their like what their drives are is quite different, and which then means that they're going to get different kinds of vulnerabilities. So, you know, right? Yes. Scabbynack says, that makes sense. The Boars Factory is the one that you said you didn't want to do at all, I think. And I'm going to probably explore and check it out, but I just don't want to explore and check it out right now. You should have stopped before saying yes to prove the point. Yeah. Would you end with a cliffhanger? Does the day end in a Y? Well, yes. Were the Y's actually a character dangling off a tightrope? Yeah. Yeah, dangerous people walking into the bar isn't the way to end your shows. Sopranos. Like, you could have other people. So here's the thing. Let's talk about people walking into a bar as a cliffhanger. The difference between an episode cliffhanger or a season cliffhanger or a series cliffhanger. And I know I'm using television language to describe RPGs. And I'm using this language not because the RPG City of Light and Shadow is streamed, because I actually would use that language even before I was streaming shows, but I have reasons why I do, and we'll tell you for a second. But Character is shot in episode cliffhanger. You see a new enemy starting to move. Is season cliffhanger? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Perhaps prepare to move is actually better. Yeah. So this is right. This is and of course they did famously have JR be shot as the cliffhanger for a Dallas episode, but that's, you know. Krellin says, RPGs share a lot of similarities with TV shows. I've often framed RPGs as a TV show. Yeah, people want to frame RPGs as films, and I don't think that really works unless we're talking about one-shots. I think one-shots, you can frame one-shots as films, but I think RPGs are much more similar to TV shows or long-running book series. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think that's they share a lot more in common. Usually, for example, films tend to have one main protagonist, where there are a lot of TV shows with ensembles, and at its core, an RPG is an ensemble rather than like one hero, unless we're doing a solo episode, you know. And the pacing is interesting because with a film you have 2 hours. Like, you might only have 4 hours for a one-shot, which means you've got to pack a lot of things in. Like, it's got to go like this. But with a longer-running campaign, whether or not that is multiple years or even just 12 episodes, you can let things unfold in a different pace, right? You can have an episode like we did, not this last one, but the time before, where it was mostly just them talking about their response to having killed someone and what that means to them. And, like, you can get this sort of... You can kind of do some of the character work that you get in TV shows that you sometimes can't do in films because you just don't have the time. So I think there are these really excellent opportunities that you get in RPGs that if you are thinking about it with a little bit more long-term scope, you can capitalize on. I would hate a series cliffhanger if that was a TV show. I could see it possibly working for a TTR. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Rissa says 100% agree that RPGs map better to episodes. And what kind of episodes, like, we can think about it, because they're also still their own medium, because there's some things that wouldn't work in a TV show that do work in RPGs, because of the fact that the players are active participants and not just excuse me?
Here we go.
And not just audience members. And so there are things that work in RPGs that would not work, that just actually wouldn't work. Why are you all... Don't die. That wouldn't really work well on a TV show, and I'm thinking specifically shopping episodes. Players love to shop, right? Players will go and shop, but you cannot have a shopping episode really on a TV show because the audience is not active in it. So there are things that work in RPGs that would work in TV shows, etc., but they're a lot more similar. Yes, one of the shots heard around the world, that one from the Dallas, stole from The Simpsons, then traveled back through time. So when it comes to, like, the person walking into the bar as a cliffhanger, for me, what is this? A mantipillar. Interesting. So for me, somebody dangerous with a gun.
The caves back east are safest. We can head up this path if you want to shoot your way through a few nightmares on your way up. Oh,
all right. Well, cool. Thank you for the info. Also, you know, I'm just walking to a random place. To the space. Look, I'm just wandering around all over the place is what I'm doing. It's what's happening. Dinner with the team, right? Dinner with the team, like, these things are great things. So, like, a real kind of big, immediate, explosive threat that freaks the players out is a thing that I think works well as an episode cliffhanger. And clearly also the audience is going to be freaked out by that as well. That's a Manta Queen. All right, well, here we go. And we're going to deal with the Manta Queen. Here we go, Manta Queen. But... Oh gosh, hey Manta Queen. Don't die! Can you use your special powers?
I've had quite enough of you!
Well, yes you can. Awesome. Yeah, okay, I know. I got it. I'm here. I know. Where are you? Hello. Sorry. I like my pistol way better than this. Side note. Are we good?
Victorious.
Okay, we're great. Also, I can't see. Depending on the show, I could see, in theory, see a shopping episode working, but it would have to be more focused on character development and interactions. I feel like a shopping episode could work in a soap opera, actually, but a lot of shows it wouldn't work in. Maybe basically kind of soap-style shows, I could see a shopping episode work. But you'd need a soap-style show, or basically any kind of show that's really heavy, as you're saying, Artie Snack, really heavy in character development. Then that would be like the point of it, and it would work. All right, so like we'll say like a high tension, like a really high tension, a really high tension person walking into the bar is good for an episode end, because, you know, I mean, we're stressed out. It's like really terrible. What are we gonna do? We have an awful person, and that kind of tension then gets resolved in a week, right? So that it doesn't seem unfair to do that to either the players or the audience. You know, for like you can handle like that kind of madness in a week. That's fine. Hey, well, awesome. Thanks, everybody. My team is taking care of all that for me, because this person's hiding behind a tree. I think the closest to is usually a resupply episode for TV shows, although usually things go poorly leading to action. It's true. You know what's interesting, though? James Bond has its shopping moments. Like, you get the techno shows, like shows that are super into resupply, because you mentioned resupply. Now I'm thinking about it. Shows that kind of fetishize gear will have shopping episodes, right? That resupply, that like, here's the new, was there an A-team shopping? The thing is, they wouldn't call it shopping. They'd be like, getting your gear from the gear person. You know what I mean. And like, look at our gadgets. And in some ways, that kind of techno bits in CSI also functions the same way, where they have sort of a fetishy experience with their gear at that moment. So yeah, right? I mean, I feel like that kind of does that work a little bit. So a really high tension cliffhanger, I feel like, is good for an episode, but it feels a little unfair for... there's a lot of stuff hanging out here. What's up with that? But it feels a little unfair for a season end, because that just feels a little unfair. Like, it feels a little rude is all I'm going to say on that one. In the books, James Bond had eating episodes. That is true. Yeah. Every episode of A-Team had the shopping montage where Mr. T makes a special... Yeah, right? So, like, and that show was really about that. So you're like, okay, that's cool. I'm going to shoot this person. Give me a second. And I didn't even kill them. Rude. Okay, they're dead. And now we have to go back to my pistol. Because my pistol is amazing and does, like, all the damage in the world. Or my friends do, so that's cool. Yeah, we're good. TNG did in the best of both worlds. I'm Lucutus of Borg. Okay, so that's interesting, right? But that one I think is... how do I put this? I kind of think a season episode can be explosive, but I feel like, and I'm still working through this thought, you can tell me what you think. I think a season cliffhanger works best when it's a bit of a mystery, right? And I'm Locutus of Borg is a bit of a mystery of like, oh, what's going to happen next, right? Like, what does that mean? And also, and if you think about it, Who Shot JR ends up being a mystery, because it's not... it's the, like, you ended not with a person walking, you ended with the aftermath, right? So it becomes a bit of a mystery of what's going to happen. So I think a nice season cliffhanger is a mystery that will drive you, that sort of points towards the action of the next season, right? So when I think about it, okay, here's what I'm going to say. I've got it. An episode cliffhanger feels like a thing that can be resolved next episode, right? Somebody comes in with a gun. Probably next episode that's going to be taken care of, one way or another. It could be a bad way, it could be a good way, but it should probably be taken care of in the next episode. A season cliffhanger points to something that is going to last probably for quite a bit of time next season. So when JR was shot, that was not resolved in the first episode of the next season. And with Locutus of Borg, that was another thing that was not resolved in the first episode of the next season. So I think that when you get a season cliffhanger, it sort of introduces threads, problems that are going to linger for quite a bit of the season, is how I think I would put it that way. Right? So you could have like the brand new head of the Gestapo walk into the club, and the brand new head of the Gestapo is Regina's dad or whatever. Like something that's going to be a problem for a longer term space is like, I think a better season cliffhanger. Artie Snack says they kind of had that a little bit in The Expanse, where they were searching for ammo, being vague to avoid spoilers. If you remember the episode, yes. Scabbynack says, imagine sitting in your hot mech for hours, sweating profusely, and a beautifully coiffed man comes along in a chest plate and shoots you 3 times with his pistol, and that's it. Yep, my pistol's awesome though. Artie Snack says, yeah, it should be something that makes you wonder what's going to happen with this, or how they're going to deal with this or handle this in a slightly more long-term sort of scope. Yeah. Have you played The Outer Wilds yet? I don't think so.
Ready when you are.
Have I played The Outer Wilds? I haven't. Have I? No. Have I? No. Krellin, you know. I haven't, right? No. Yes? Tell me more. Artie Snack says, something that introduces a new aspect of the world, or something that change... I have not, thank you. Or something to change or twist these. Yes, Artie Snack, I think that's actually really good. I think that episode cliffhangers don't necessarily do larger world-shaping things. I think that a season cliffhanger, that's a good thing to do for a season cliffhanger, where they learn something that is like a much larger sort of shift. And then when it comes to a series cliffhanger... If you're going to do a series cliffhanger, it's a great lore exploration, free roam game, no relations. Oh, the name sounds familiar. What's the setting? Because the name sounds familiar. I'm interested. So... cliffhangers for entire campaigns or series, and I'm thinking about, and again, I will note that I am also really thinking about this in terms of RPGs, where the players are invested in over many hours, and thinking about this. Oh, no, you're right, Krellin. You're right. That's what it is. That is what it is. For me, and this is just my thought, and I could, and again, I'm not like married to this 100%, but these are like my current thoughts on the matter. You know what? I'm just gonna go all in with the encumbrance. I will deal with this later. Oh, thank you, Tonata. Let me put this up on a tab so I can look at it. There we go. So for me, and again, I will note that we can, what I'm saying I'm not 100% married to, right? I'm not 100% married to it, but this is where my current thoughts are. And you suddenly, says Artie Snack, and you suddenly see that one of the main characters has actually been working with the antagonist. They solved the season-long issue, but in doing so, introduces something that motivates them to explore the next part, the new part of the world. Yeah, right? So like, I think that just functionally, and I will note, I actually think for the end of a season, I think cliffhangers are really good for season ends because it drives it. I don't necessarily think it's great to end your season with no forward momentum. Like, I don't think that's necessarily great. I think it's better to make sure you have some kind of forward momentum.
On your back, Captain.
Oh, hi. Yeah. Oh, there's another one. These mantiporas are kind of irritating, don't you think? Oh, hi. How are you?
Everyone all right?
Surprise. Yeah, but I also think it's harder for the players. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you end it with no forward momentum, I think it's hard on the players as well. So yeah. Artie Snack says, your viewers are not going to be watching it for months, so you want to do something that is going to make people want to remember the show and return when it starts up again. Right, and not just the viewers, but also the players. Like, you want the players to have something that gives them a little bit of like, oh, well. Right, like,
Here we go.
ooh, well, what's going to happen there? Oh, there's a lot. Okay. Pardon me? We're good. Yeah, so I mean, I do. I think that's important. I think that you want there to be momentum. Like, you have to have momentum. Are we good? No, I don't want this. I don't want that flaw. I don't want it. Let's see. Having time to fill with theorycraft helps tide the audience over and maybe get others interested in what is going to happen next season. Oh, we're talking about why don't you use their abilities? Oh, I just don't use them that often. I sometimes remember to use them, but I often forget to use them. When it gets really, when the encounter starts getting really bad, and I'm like, oh, we all might die, then I start remembering, oh, that's right, they have special abilities. I should probably use them. But I often just forget about their abilities. And I haven't died much yet. I mean, I did use it on that Mantiqueen. I was like, hey, Mantiqueen, that seems good to use it now. Yeah, I should also... There are a lot of villains around. Is there a reason for that? Like, why do we have so many villains? We're gonna get back here. I haven't answered your question. Oh, we're discussing role-playing games. We're discussing tabletop role-playing games and how to design ends of episodes, ends of series well and effectively. Also, why are you all meleeing right now? Yeah, why are you all meleeing? Why is that happening? They don't normally melee. So yeah, we're talking about how to have satisfying endings to an RPG show. You thought that it's too much to get into. You thought that what is too much to get into? What? RPGs? Oh no, RPGs are pretty fine. Like I'd say play some, see if you enjoy it. Okay, we're coming to a new town, everybody, which is good because that means we can sell things. Just side note. Here, we'll use one of their abilities. Didn't work. How about this one? Didn't work. They just don't use their abilities. They're not using it. So, yeah, I pressed the button and they didn't use it. How do you do it? Oh, how do you do it online? How do people play RPGs online? People will, it depends on if you have a group already or not. If you do have a group, people will just use, you can use Skype or Zoom or Discord chat or any kind of ways in which you can, Google Hangouts, any kind of ways in which you can talk to people. Like on the very basic level, all you need to do is have some kind of means for people to communicate with each other, and that's really the minimum that you need. But outside of that, you can add more bells and whistles. You can use a virtual tabletop like Roll20. You can... I can't get in here. That's terrible. I just want... Ooh. Let's walk around the edge. Let's just walk around the edge. So you can be more intense about it. Rissa is my GM for a Call of Cthulhu campaign. That, see, like, whenever I try to use their abilities, they just don't use them. They only use them sometimes and not all the time, and so I think I get out of the habit of using their abilities because they so often don't do anything. And if they're not going to do anything, then I sort of get out of using them. Why did you kill Vicar Max? That was rude. The problem I see is that video games have these rules set in place where you have to set in place your own. Oh, hello. Hey, this place looks kind of messed up, right? I mean, no? Yes? This place doesn't...
That thing crashed a long time ago. It ain't gonna fly again, so don't go getting funny ideas.
No, I'm just noting that this place, Cascadia, looks like it's seen better days. Like, way better days. Way better days. You know, like, this doesn't look great. This looks bad. That's all. I mean, I'm just... Also, it looks like it's full of people who want to kill me. And that is not great. Right? Like, this does not seem like it's a town full of people who are friendly to me.
Here they come.
Are they? Oh. Yeah, this is a town full of marauders, everybody. Okay, well, yeah, sure. You know, this is not what I was expecting, but that's cool, I suppose. Yeah, okay, well, we're in a moment. Yeah. Okay, sure. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yep. So we're in a massive gunfight with a lot of people. Nyoka, don't get in my way. I'm gonna kill this person. It'll be fine. Wait, why are you all down there? What's wrong with you? Are you all dead? Team, we were on a strategically good space. You didn't need to go jumping down. Come on, people. Oh, there we go. I feel like sometimes they should just listen to me more. You know what I mean? But then they don't, and I find that frustrating. But whatever. For our Call of Cthulhu game, we just use Zoom, especially now, but we've done that for a while because Trooper is on the other side of the country, and one of the players is now in Kansas, where the rest of the group is in California. We use the source books and real dice. All you really need is a way to talk to... Yeah, that's right. Riss is correct. All you need is a way to talk to one another. So if you have a group that you can play with, then you can play with online, and it's really not that big of a deal. On the other hand, if you don't have a group yet, there are ways to find groups. And if you've never played before at all and you're interested in playing, I have recommendations. Ouch. I recommend, for example, there are a number of places that will... Are you dead? Oh, you're not dead. But you're dead now.
Here we go. Stood in our way.
Yeah. Sorry about that. They're dead now. I just murdered them real hard while they were sleeping, which is super rude. But they did wake up after I shot them the first time. So, you know. Ouch. Yeah, that was super harsh, everybody. That was harsh. That was harsh. That's why I was often Lone Vault Dweller in the first two Fallout. Mm-hmm. What was I going to say? I just lost my train of thought. I had a thing to say and I totally lost it. Oh, yeah. I know what I was going to say. So if you've never played RPGs before, but you're interested in trying, like you would like to try RPGs, let's go left. There are places that specialize in RPGs for new folks. The Scraticus Academy is one, and they often have one-shots for people who've never played before. So if you wanted to play and you've never played before, all you need is a webcam and usually Zoom, and you can sign up for a one-shot. And they're also really like good, friendly people who are kind and not gross. So you would have a pretty decent experience there. They're also good if you want to GM for the first time. They can get you really good players. I've done that before, where they said, "Hey, would you go and be a player for somebody who's never GM before?" And I said, "Sure." So Stratus Academy is really good. Dot Sunday Funday also works that way. So Dot Sunday Funday is a really good one if you've never streamed online before. That's a great one to go with. So Dot Sunday Funday is good. Scraticus Academy is good. Eric Vulgaris used to do that, but I don't think he does it much anymore, to be honest. So I cannot speak to that because I don't think he's been streaming his one-shots for a while. Dot Sunday Funday is a really good one, though. Look, I think we found a vending machine, everybody. Our life, this is what we've been looking for. We've only been playing so we could get to a vending machine. That's not true. But we can now sell all of our junk. Right? Let's... Look. We've sold all of our junk and got rid of almost 20 pounds of stuff. Right? How is that? So yeah, Dot Sunday Funday is really good. I will get rid of some of the loot. It's true. Yeah, scabbing. Yeah, that does happen. It does happen. So let me go by name. Oh, you know what? I can go by weight. Actually, let's do that. Or yes. So I'm going to get rid of that. Yes. Trooper says all of his junk is silver, 70% of his capacity. Sometimes that happens. No, look, but I'm selling stuff. Like, you should all be super proud of me for selling things. Just like, woo, selling things. 205. Yes, we'll sell one of those. Yeah, so I can say Scraticus, Sunday Funday at Dots. Those are all really great places to go and try out RPGs for the first time. Yeah, I should probably, like, I'm going to do that. I just haven't been on my ship for a while, but I'm definitely going to store things on the ship. As soon as I get back to the ship, I will do that. I am, by the way, currently under my weight value, so I'm feeling really good about how awesome I am right now. I mean, right? I mean, that's... And I'm gonna repair everything. Oh, that's a lot of weapon parts. Whew. Whew. He's never... But, look, here's what I'll do. This is what I'll do. Oh. Hi, Marauder. I'm gonna shoot you in the back. I feel really violent. I feel like maybe we're not that nice. Tribute of all the companions, you're never gonna maybe need something. No, I think, see, Crowley, what I'm gonna do is once I get off the stream, sometime before the next stream, what I'm gonna do is try to get back to the ship, go through all of my companions, make sure they have the best weapons that I have, and then sell everything else. So I'm gonna do that. Now that I've got all the companions, I'm going to do it. I do want you to know that is a thing that I'm going to do. I'm going to give everybody an upgrade, and then I'm going to sell everything. I am going to do that. I will do it. And then I'm going to keep the special weapons with a little sun pattern on them, but I'll keep them in the ship. So, and then I'm going to upgrade weapons and make them better. Were you going to cannibalize that dude? So I'm going to do it. And I'm also going to give him all the best armor I can get and then sell the rest of the armor. So like I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then I'm going to be like, whoosh. You're also carrying like 50 or so of consumables. You can store a bunch of them as well. Well, that's true. I can do that as well. That is also true. Also, what are we doing in this place? Like, why? Why are we murdering people? What is this about our lives? What about the choices we've made that have brought us to just murdering people? Oh well. True, at least that way it's easier, so you can still theoretically use them if... Yeah. Pixar... No, it hasn't happened yet, but it will totally happen. Oh, and the last thing I want to say, because I didn't finish this thought, about a series finale. I think a good series finale, cliffhanger, a series cliffhanger is one that allows you to dream. That's what I think. So, what I mean is, if I were gonna have somebody walk in at the series finale of City of Light and Shadow, it would not be a new Gestapo person. It would be maybe something like Ophelia, right? The Morse code operator walks into Bricktops, and then we sort of end, and we don't know how it's going to go, but it's interesting. It gives us something to dream about, right? We can sort of fantasize a little bit, think about what will happen, wonder, but it's not like a dire cliffhanger. It's just something like, oh well, what are the possibilities? Or maybe we'll get them all, or maybe like the war is over and they get a message saying, do you want to join the CIA or MI6, right? Like some kind of thing that would kind of gesture to what their life might be like after the series is over, if they live, right? So for me, yeah, so Artie Snack, I think what I would say is, to use your language, I feel like open endings are better for series finales if you want them, but not cliffhangers. Let's just use that language. That's better. I think a good open ending is nice for a series finale, but not like a real full-on cliffhanger. So that's what I will say to you. Yes. Rizzo's new Purple Berry Crunch, now with more purple TM flavor you love. Rizzo Inc. point of sale interface. Authorized users Cecil McClure, and Ira Boyd. Error. Unable to establish connection to Rizzo Incorporated monetary processing. This terminal is now in its default log and message viewing mode. February 4th, 2344. Law help me. Help us all. I saw one. Frothing at the mouth, barely able to string a word or two together. Walking at me as if to devour me whole. Zora was right. There are monsters here. We need to get out if we want to live. Cecil, you aren't insane. They were people once. I don't know what they are now. Zora. Cecil, these crazy assholes don't know how to use a keypad. I took one from my clinic office and installed it on the bridge gate. 2613, be safe, Zora. Well, I got that info, so that's good. Look, it looks really bad here, everybody. Yeah, I'm good with an open ending for series than what I would, using more specific language, that's where I'm at. But I also think the open ending has to be the right kind of open ending, in the sense that I think it has to be an open ending that inspires you rather than frustrates you. Hello, little player piano. You're not even playing. If that makes any sense? Yeah, right? Like when I think about shows where people have been frustrated by the open endings, they're open endings that don't do anything. They're like, what was that? Like people were not happy. A lot of people were not happy with the ending of The Sopranos because it didn't make you think, I suppose, in an exciting way. People were not happy with it. They didn't like it. Also, this seems really bad. And look, I do like a good mysterious ending, but I think it has to... It doesn't work when it's a season finale rather than a series finale, is what I'll say. Due to emergency precautions, the Rizzo Bridge to Success has been sealed. For your safety and the safety of others, all access is closed until further notice. Access gate unlocked. Please advise that harm to company assets or personnel as a result of the bridge being opened will be divided and taken from every Cascadia employee's pay. Okay, well, I'm not going to go through right now. I'm checking out the space. Right? I'm just checking out the space. Because, we got... Yeah. So anyway, I'm really excited about the idea of writing up City of Light and Shadow as an RPG book that I clearly cannot do right now. Excuse me?
Huh?
Murder.
Like to die.
I feel super guilty about this. I mean, not really. I feel kind of guilty, mid-level guilty about it. Not heavy guilty, just, Because I feel like I'm just wandering around murdering people. Well, it's the law of the jungle. Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. There was something I saw that I saw the end of the series and found it really satisfying and was open-ended, and I can't remember which show. Oh, that's a good question. The final episode of the Mrs. Peel series of the Avengers, she was in season 4 and 5. She was in series 4 and 5, and they wrote her out at the end of series 5. And that ending was really good. It was very bittersweet. It made me very, very sad, but it was really good. Like, it was like, then they had to write her out, and they did it in a really interesting way that was like left you open to things. I thought that was good. You don't just feel like you're wandering around murdering people. Maybe you're right. Maybe that is also actually what I'm doing. That it is possible that is the case. Let me see. Really good series finales that we liked and felt good with. A lot of my shows were canceled before they were done, so that's a little bit frustrating. Tell the truth, my friend. You smiled when you saw her husband was another version. Yes, I did. Be right, I did. I did very much, and I was happy. I was like, okay. Like, I was super sad that she had to leave because her husband was found in the jungle, and it was very bittersweet. But then, he was in that version of Steed, and I was like, all right, you got me, show. I'm happy. No, Volpez! Volpez, I'm just, no. Volpez, you know how to get me. You know how to get it to me. Oh, that ending of Newhart was great. I really, there was a show called Newhart, and the ending was amazing. I thought the ending was so fun. That was a great ending, Krellin. That was a really good one. I really liked that ending. Thank you for reminding me of an ending that I thought was pretty cool. Yeah, Krellin, bringing up the good ones. Yeah. And it worked. Newhart was so 80s post-Dynasty. It was. I loved that. What else? Yeah, so I'm excited about writing up that book. I think it'll be really good. The ending to the Good Omens series was pretty good. I didn't get to see it. I think one of the problems is a lot of shows get canceled before they get to end on their own terms, and so that's a little bit tricky. Yeah, I think this show needs to know that they're going to be over so they can make their own ending, if they can stick the landing. I thought that Mad Men had a good ending. A little controversial because people are still trying to figure out what it meant, but I liked it. I thought it was a pretty good ending. I think that there's enough ambiguity that you can sort of play with different things. Scabby Neck, people really liked the ending of Game of Thrones. That's what Twitter tells me. Twitter tells me that people loved it and thought it was the best. So Newhart was the show Bob Newhart did after the Bob Newhart show, which was also really brilliant. He ran an inn in Vermont full of quirky characters. The ending was him waking up in bed with his wife from the Bob Newhart show, telling her about the weird dream he had. And that was so fun. That was actually really cool. I enjoyed that one. I thought that was a great ending. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, sadly, Eureka did a good job with what they were given, but was definitely cut short. Yeah, and it's really tricky when your show's cut short, right? That's tough. I used to watch Newhart, but if I recall, the ending I do recall, the ending I do recall, Larry, Daryl, and Daryl showed people how to reuse disposable straws. Daryl, and their other Burl. It was Larry, Daryl, and Daryl. There was so what else had a good endings? So I know that Battlestar Galactica had a controversial ending, but I was okay with it. I know that some people were not okay with the ending, but I was okay with it. I was okay with it. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is the ending that I've always longed for, that I love forever. Do you know what I mean? That I wasn't like, oh, that's the best ending and I'm so satisfied. Yeah! That was not where I was at, but it was fine. I wasn't mad at it. It seemed to fit in with what the last season was doing anyway, so I was like, that's all right. It was fine. It was fine. Yeah, Artie Snack, that's where I'm at. I didn't mind it. It was okay. I know that some people were really upset with it, but it was okay. I mean, again, I wasn't mad at it. I kind of like the ending to Warehouse 13, but Claudia was my hero. Oh, yeah. What else? Was there any other? And I know that people didn't like the ending to Lost, but I didn't watch Lost. But here's the tricky thing. Actually, this is interesting, that I think for the longest time, shows didn't get to really plan their ending that way because they were just canceled. And now, basically they just go on until they're canceled. And now we're in a space where more TV showrunners plan for their show to last for only 6 seasons. And so it's a bit more common for shows to actually plan to end, right? And I think, so that gives us a little bit of a difference. Death Star said the final season of BSG was definitely lacking the writers, obviously, but yeah, the ending was cool enough. Yeah, right. And I think Death Star, I'm with you. I think that, I decide, yes. Right, I think that's what I'm gonna do with you. That's what I'm gonna do with you, Death Star Taco. I'm just gonna agree with that one. That I think that the writing for that final season was a little off for me. It wasn't the worst, right? I mean, in comparison to some of the early seasons, it was lacking, but it was fine. And there were parts about that final season that were pretty cool. And yeah. Like, I mean, yeah. Ooh, thank you, Rissa. Also, we'll say this. I know that some people were upset with the kind of the religiosity of that final season, but I wasn't bothered by the religiosity of the final season because there had been religiosity as a theme throughout the entire series. Like, I think people wanted less religiosity, like mysticism. Mysticism is better than religiosity. They wanted less mysticism in their sci-fi show, but the show was always mystical. Like, there was always, like, mysticalness from the very beginning, so, you know what I mean? Like, it was fine. I wasn't super bothered by that because it was fine. J.J. Abrams doesn't know how to write endings. Because an ending requires opening the mystery box, and he still doesn't open the present his grandmother left him because he's a bad grandson. Ooh. Arrow actually had a really solid ending in final season. I need to watch the final season of Arrow. I will take that as a good recommendation. JMS turning off the power in Babylon 5 seemed appropriate too. Oh yeah, that was a good one. Death Star. Writers shouldn't have to be forced to strike, but alas, they have if they want to keep being professional writers. Yeah, that's it, right? And so sometimes that writer strike comes in, and you're like, well, okay. Public notice. By the way, if we access these messages, we're committing felonies, but I don't care. I wouldn't recommend watching the ending of Arrow unless you've watched all of Arrow, because it probably won't make sense. No, I've got to catch up. I'm a couple seasons behind, and I just plan on, when I have some space, watching the rest of Arrow, because I do want to see how it ends, because I really enjoyed the first seasons that I watched. I enjoyed them. I mean, of course, like any show, it has problems, and that is that they really never knew what to do with Katie Lotz's character, Laurel Lance. But, you know, and I can't watch the latest season of the CW stuff yet because you have to watch them all together due to the crossover events. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Like, I ended up stopped watching because of like TV cable reasons. I think like first season of Supergirl, around then is I think when I had a TV problem where I ended up getting sort of popped out, so I have to get caught up. Let's see. Public notice. Halcyon Holdings Corporate Board. Public Notice 117 on the issue of a hazard clause for Terra 1. This notice, issued on January 12, 2343, serves as the public denouncement of Terra 1 as a feasible workplace environment. Due to the hostile and aggressive nature of the wildlife, as well as the unsustainability of its natural flora for use in human consumption, the Halcyon Holdings Corporate Board has officially enacted a hazard clause covering the entirety of Terra 1. After an evacuation period of no more than 6 months, Terra 1 will be officially considered illegal territory. As this is a unanimous decision, any corporation caught operating on Terra 1 after the evacuation period will face fines and possible disbarment, as defined in Halcyon Code 22.1. Ooh. I think there was one season of CW Supergirl as opposed to CBS Supergirl that was on Hulu before they pulled their shows for their own streaming service. Oh, that's right. It moved channels, right? It was right. That's right. They switched channels. I remember that. I think I watched the first CBS season, but now they end up on Netflix after the season is out eventually. Yeah. I need to finish watching Flash, Supergirl, and Batwoman. Yeah, I just need to catch up in the Arrowverse. I'll do it. It's fine. It's gonna happen. It'll happen. It'll be okay. From Sumner Z to Theodore T. Pauline B. Subject the hazard clause. I've received confirmation that Rizzo will soon abandon Terra 1 with the rest of the corporations. We are expected to maintain our exports until the day we leave. All teams will continue to operate until told otherwise. As of this time, I don't see the need to inform anyone outside of the three of us of the board's decision. We don't want our workers thinking they're going to be reassigned. Just let them do what they do best. Their jobs. Does this change to our priorities at all? Should we be scuttling research and focusing more on the exports? No, we'll hit our export quotas for the next 7 months at least. Project tarot is still our #1 priority. Ooh, that sounds mysterious. Mysterious. Yeah, season 1. Yeah, I watched the CBS season, and then I didn't get to watch the CW season. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at in terms of timing. A new chance to get in one and start with a new Stargirl series. Ooh. Hello, Anarch W. This stuff reminds me of the Vault-Tec stuff from Fallout. It does. Me too. Me too. Yeah. Stargirl seems. Yeah. Anyway, I like what they're doing. Oh, apparently there's going to be a Superman show? Is that right? That's what I heard. There'll be a Superman show. From Sumner. Mr. Ziegler, we regret to inform you that the shuttles en route to the bottling facility at Cascadia have been rerouted. The evacuation effort is prioritized in order of profitability, measured chiefly by export volume. And as of this time, other facilities have proven themselves either more profitable or more efficient. The distribution system will send the minimum 1 shuttle for evacuation purposes. If you have more personnel that can fit on a standard shuttle, Rizzo recommends establishing a priority system so that the loading and preparation of that shuttle can proceed smoothly. Please be advised that any attempt to load more than the maximum amount of human resources onto the shuttle will be met with forceful interventions. Warm regards, your friends in the Rizzo Incorporate Directorate. These people are terrible. Terrible. But what of Project Tarot? Surely it warrants additional resources. Mr. Ziegler, research projects are not taken into consideration when calculating the profitability of any given settlement. Project Tarot's importance may place it higher on your priority list, but we are still unable to send more than 1 shuttle for evacuation. We suggest you balance your resources accordingly. Warm regards, your friends in the Rizzo Incorporated Directorate. Also, they seem like the worst. The worst. Let's see. Yeah, from the characters interested in Supergirl. Oh, really? Okay. It's 3 p.m. Although episodes 1 and 2 of Stargirl clearly were meant to be the pilot. 1 and 2 together. Oh. By the way, I'm going to leave more or less on time-ish because I've got a meeting at 4 p.m. that I've got to be involved in, and I should eat. But I want to read this first. From Sumner Z. We get 1 shuttle. By my estimate, the Project Tarot assets, both human and otherwise, will take up approximately 2/3 of our available space. That leaves us and a couple more people we can take with us. We need to decide how we're going to decide who else to take. Perhaps a subcommittee to draft a decision-making plan? Oh, corporate speak. You know me, Sumner. I love subcommittees, but any decision we make is going to end up with pissed-off workers. Let's just ride out with the Tarot crew. We'll enjoy a bit of an extra leg room. Once we're safe on T2, we can see about getting another shuttle sent out. Well, what will we tell the workers? We'll tell them that we're going to get them out. We just won't know. They just won't know it'll be 1 shuttle at a time. It's fine. Do not tell them about the hazard clause. Our goal is to get it out of here peacefully. No incidents. I don't want panic. I don't want a riot or, Lord forbid, a strike. Once we're out, we'll send word back with further plans. Until then, keep this among us. Also, they are just the worst. The worst. These people are bad. Bad people. Bad corporations. That's all I'm saying. Is Stargirl the trans woman prophet? Oh, I don't know. Why do I keep getting the impression this was how all colonies are treated? Yeah. From Supergirl. Do you mean the Dreamer from Supergirl? Yeah. Then no, Stargirl is definitely is different. They are on their own Earth. Oh, Earth 2. Oh. I am behind on things. But the thing is, I enjoyed those shows. They were like a good kind of a popcorn show that seemed kind of fun. So, yeah, I'm excited to catch up on those shows. But, you know, to be honest, there are a lot of shows that I feel like I need to watch. You know? But, Stimulotion seems sketch. It's cool. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to write an RPG when I have time. And you asked, there was a question, and the question was, what is my academic book about? Arrow got lighter and Flash got darker as the series continued. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Did it work? Did the shift in tone work well? Or no? Do you know? View data. I'm gonna basically finish this building and then port back to my ship, and then we'll go. Depends on who you ask. I'll just have to see what I think about it. I can imagine. Executive reviews. No, wait. I was going to tell you something. I forgot. Executive reviews. Here to assess your progress, grab a can of Rizzo's Purple Berry Punch. Sit back and learn how you can sweeten your career. Note, all employee reviews are property of Rizzo. Misuse of data may result in fines, loss of employee perks, and negative reviews. Well. Zora Blackwood. Zora is a top-notch sawbones with a good head for working under pressure. Interesting. She knows how to assimilate large amounts of detailed information and make quick decisions. Her competence and decisiveness have allowed her to restore more than a few limbs and digits lost to carelessness around the machinery. Recommend for Employee of the Month. Interesting. Cecil McClure. I feel like we're learning things about our people. Cecil's enthusiasm for Rizzo's products is unmatched, and he displays an impressive knowledge of company products. He's exactly the kind of worker we need to keep at our storefronts. Do not promote beyond store manager. Woof. Oof. Let's export these things. Our executive reviews, let's export them, and then we're good there. Let's see. Flash hasn't been as... I didn't really like darker Flash, but Arrow desperately needed to lighten up because season 1 just wasn't Green Arrow at all. Okay. Flash hasn't been as good in my opinion the last couple of seasons. Okay. I mean, I heard that Flash kind of had a villain problem, but we'll see. Stargirl is a classic DC character reboot from the early 2000s from the Justice Society, which was the original Supergroup book. Legends has been good because it's goofy AF. All right. I've heard really good things about Legends. Legends is easily one of my favorite shows in general. Yeah, see, I keep hearing really good things about... Oh, hi. Hi, dead people. I've been hearing really good things about Legends, and so that is something that is on my radar as... and I like... I really... Oh, thank you, Death Star Taco. Academic book, thank you. I was like, that was the thing I forgot. Because I like the woman who played the sister, you know, the other Lance, not Laurel Lance, but the first Canary, Sarah. Thank you. I liked her. I liked her actor. I thought her actor was good, and so I was excited to see her in more shows because I was sad when she died. But see, that was the whole problem that they had with trying to figure out what to do with Laurel Lance, and I felt really bad for the actor because they clearly didn't know what to do with her, and that was awkward. You know, I'm going to use the vending machine in a second after I pick up more things from the ground. Flash's villain problem is that they took their best villain, gave him a face turn, and then killed him in Legends. Oof. The first season of Legends is rough, but after that it gets much better. Sarah Lance, she's one of my favorite characters. Yeah, I really liked her. I liked her actor. I liked her character. And I was like, dang, they have to kill her so that Laurel can become the Black Canary, but because they don't really have another storyline for her, but I felt like, yeah. Let's hope focus is happening when Trooper is in your what? In your what? Oh, in New York. In New York. We will see. Academic book. I'm actually working on 3 academic books. One is actually kind of on hiatus for real, and the other 2 are the ones I'm actively working on. I'm working on one full-length, regular-size, massive book, and then one really small book, and there's like another thing on the side. But the big, massive book, which I'm working on, is I know I have to get my food. Is on transgender musicians over a century and what that says about race and gender and identity. So I'm looking at, I'm starting in the 50s and I'm going to now, although if I get extra time and I work really quickly, I might sort of throw in the 1930s as well, because I would like to go from the 1930s to the 19 teens. That's what I would like to do. But currently the book is planned for 11 chapters, which it takes me from the 50s to the present. So if I can get the time and space, I'll do an extra 2 chapters on the 1930s. And then the small book I'm working on is about racism in musicology. It's basically about the problem with the Enlightenment and the ways in which musicology is sort of obsessed with the Enlightenment, and the ways in which this obsession with the Enlightenment ends up meaning that our field keeps having these problems with lack of diversity and kind of sketchiness. So that one's like an intervention in the field and thinking about the ways in which people are more invested in Beethoven than they are in their colleagues who are alive today. And so like wanting to sort of work through some of that. So that's what I'm working on. Dyslexia is kicking your butt. You know, it does happen. It does happen. But we do have messages. I'm gonna read the messages. Oh yeah. I'm gonna be talking about Kant for sure. We're gonna be talking about the Enlightenment and like who's an Enlightenment subject and like our sort of fascination with the Enlightenment and the ways in which the Enlightenment was also the time of the slave trade and colonialism, and we don't talk about that at all. And like the kind of mythology of the Enlightenment that feeds into the idea that like classical music is the best music ever, and if you listen to classical music, it'll make you a better human being. And all this stuff, which then means that we don't teach music by women. Like basically there was the beautiful Enlightenment had an Enlightenment subject. That Enlightenment subject was not a person of color, was not a woman, et cetera, et cetera. And so because we value the Enlightenment, we value the things made by Enlightenment subjects, which don't tend to be diverse things. And so part of what I'm doing is looking at music from the Enlightenment by people of color, by women, and sort of thinking about who those people, and looking at philosophers, like looking at pieces of music from the 1800s and philosophers from the 1800s, and thinking about how, and but like different, like I'm looking, there's like we're like, here are the Enlightenment philosophers that we think are so valuable. Like, but you know, there were Enlightenment philosophers. Like there was a black German from the 19th century who also wrote philosophy texts that were Enlightenment texts, but we never study him. And there's also the court composer for Marie Antoinette was also a black Frenchman, and we never study him. So like thinking about, we say that we don't study these people who are diverse because we have to study only the great music that's from the Enlightenment, but actually there are people of color in Enlightenment and we don't study them. So like trying to sort of rethink about what we think of the Enlightenment, who we think of as being part of the Enlightenment, and then also interrogating some of the scandals that my field has had in the last couple of years, where we've done some really gross things have happened. Because basically some gross things have happened in my field recently, like super gross things, gross things, super gross things, big scandals, and people keep thinking like, well, why do these scandals keep happening in our field? Like, why is it that we have people making excuses for Nazi war criminals in our field? Like, why is that happening? Like, I have no idea why we're making excuses for this Nazi war criminal, or why this is happening, or why that is happening. I'm like, well, there's a reason why this is happening. It's because we're obsessed with the 19th century in really unhealthy, creepy ways. And so the book is about trying to work through, like I'm looking at some of the scandals that have happened in the present day, and I'm then tying it back to the ways in which we sort of teach the past. So that's this little mini book. That book should be really short, and I should be able to write that book fairly quickly. Like I've got a bunch of research and analysis I have to do, but that book should be like 30,000 words, 30 or 40,000 words, whereas my big book is going to be something like 100 and something thousand words. Like, you know. Like the big book is going to be maybe 100 to 120,000 words, but the other one's like going to be really short. So I feel like I could probably try to get that book done, the little short book, quickly, and then work on the big long book. And I've got like a year and a half, and I think that if I work it out well, I'll have enough time to then also work on this little RPG book on the side. Yeah, the only biggest like classical music was the organized well, the thing is actually the irony being that classical music was the organized but it wasn't. That's the thing. Most classical music was not the popular music of the day. A couple pieces, but the thing is, because most classical music was commissioned by either the church or nobles for themselves. So like most classical music wasn't actually the popular music of the day. There were a couple of things, but there was actual popular music, right? Like in England, there was just like a bunch of songs. And there was some like, there was music hall. That was like music hall, broadside ballads. Some opera was a bit more popular, actually. Opera got sort of, depending on when and where, what kind of opera, like opera comique, like comedic opera. British opera ballad operas were popular music, but a lot sea shanties. But a lot of it was actually not for the masses, which is like, I don't get that he is eaten raw. A dude who never left the town he was born. How the F can he know people who are not matching himself well? That ties into some stuff we were talking about on Twitter. Yeah. Do I make an audiobook out of it? I don't know if people want an audiobook about that. I'm gonna read these. I'm gonna read them. To C. McClure. From Violet H. Improved Metaphors. Cecil, I've received multiple complaints about your interaction with customers. According to these reports, the following phrases have been used when describing Rizzo products being sold at your storefronts. If that ain't savings, just call me a Raptidon, expletive deleted. The latest batch is going to knock you out like a nose full of sulfur. The north end of a southbound woolly cow. These and other metaphors are not approved metaphors. Please refer to your employee handbook for the list of metaphors allowed when working. Much obliged. Violet Humbert, Human Resources Department. From C. McClure. Violet, I've received notices of the following violations: consumption of non-approved lunch material, failure to volunteer for voluntary overtime, sale of restricted goods. I contest these violations on the following grounds. 1. I'm allergic to purpleberry. Making one of our pre-approved purpleberry lunch meals will literally kill me. To be candid, it is a miracle I've lived here this long without incident. Next, I can't volunteer for overtime because I've already been assigned overtime shifts. Last, okay, I'll fess up to selling restricted goods. You got me there. Selling soap to a man who stinks so bad I can't smell the sulfur around him is against the rules. Fine, I won't do it anymore. Cecil. The melody of Star Spangled Banner was like the melody of some popular British poem. It was. That's exactly right. It was called. It was called. Oh my gosh, what was it called? It was Phaeton, maybe. It was basically it wasn't a pub song. It was like a club. There was like a drinking club that had its own theme song. It was like to the Phaeton or something or other. It was like a society. It was like a drinking society, right? It was like a bit of a fancier, it was a fancier club is what I'm trying to tell you. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I want an audiobook about the things you work with, silly. Makes reading easier. I know, but the question is, will my publisher care about audiobooks? Nobody cares about academic stuff that much. To Pauline from Violet. Subject, Raptidon sightings. Ms. Bartleby, I'm writing to inform you that multiple employees have filed Form R441, Perceived Danger to Human Resources, through my office. It appears that Raptidon sightings are growing more and more frequent. As Rizzo Incorporated has not responded to our requests for safety equipment, a level of concern and, dare I say it, restlessness grows among the workers. Any indication as to the truth of these sightings, or the rumors that Rizzo Incorporated is no longer supporting our efforts here, would go a long way toward improving company morale. Thank you. Violet. I want to say Violette, though. To some name starting with an A or something. I agree. Redrafting paper to satisfy an audience more sucks. Oh, it's hard. I only learned that listening to a cool saxophone rendition of it. Yeah, you're right. Last one. To Violette from Zora. Violette, please, we're all begging you, for the love of all that is good and just, please let Cecil sell soap to Simon again. He's got some kind of a condition. I don't really know what it is, but I've smelled corpses with a finer odor than his. So, I think we are basically through this building. more or less, and then I'm going to go. If your publisher doesn't care about audiobooks, can you just like record yourself reading your own book with the dulcet tones of your own magnificent voice, and then you sell it directly to us? Ooh, selling it might be a problem. I might be able to just put it out for free, maybe? I mean, there's a question there. Oh, oops. Awkward. I hate it when that happens. It's fine. Ugh. So here's the deal, yo. I think I should actually end here, even though this is not where I want to end. I like ending back on the ship. You know what I mean? But I should go. Yeah. Oh, Chromatic. I'm going too. I'm leaving. I'm happening. I'm going. Let's end here. It's not the best place to end, but let's do it. Because I gotta eat some food before a 4 o'clock meeting. So let's do that. Yeah, that's fine. It's good. And main menu. Boom. Yes. If your publisher probably has to sign up, yeah, the publisher would have to sign up either way because they own the book. So that's, you know. Also, hey, Sal. I know we're ending. My TTS program lets me see text while it is reading it out loud for me. So, y'all, it's 3:22. I should go. But let me tell you what's next for me. Tomorrow at 1 p.m. at Tales from the Grim will be the final episode of the 3-part miniseries, Seraphim Station using Capers Offworld. You can see me there if you like. Wouldn't reading your book with a silly and or melodic voice be considered apparently appropriately transformative of the work? Oh, thank you, B. Wright. I will see you in a future stream. By the way, thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it very much. You know, you make my life much happier. So you can find me Wednesday for Overlight at 7 at Little Red Dot. You can find me on Thursday at 6 p.m. over at Table Story for A State of Affairs, the Good Society RPG, and at 10 o'clock on my channel for Wander Song, which I figured out how to fix that problem, by the way. I had to do a beta install that did stuff, but that's worked out. And then Friday for the solo episode of Regina for City of Light and Shadows. And I figured out something really brutal to give Dot, which I'm super excited about. And I'm really decided to see what she does. It's going to be good, everybody. That's it. So here, if you want, yeah, no, I got a really great brutal thing to offer Regina. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. I'm just telling you, it's gonna be so good, everybody. Well, I just want to know what she's gonna do. I'm gonna give her options, but I want to know what she's gonna do, especially after what happened last episode. So we've got a Discord you can join if you like. Other than the Discord, you can catch me here on this channel, of course, Trooper SJP. Also on YouTube at Trooper SJP, where they archive all of our stuff. And you can also catch me on Twitter at Academic Foxhole. And also, I have a Patreon, Academic Foxhole, which goes to support the RPG shows. I'm at 694 followers. When we get to 750, I'm going to buy a fancy camera and make some video content. Boom. Yeah, Murder and Kill Regina will turn pearls red. Yeah, I got some hard choices. I got some hard choices for her. And the thing is, and maybe it won't be a hard choice. Maybe it'll be an easy choice, and then she won't even think about it at all. Or maybe she will. I don't know. But she made a choice last show, and we're gonna see how this all goes. We're gonna see how it plays out. I'm really excited. So thank you all for being here. I'm gonna grab some food, and I will catch you all on the flip side. Bye, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Bye.